The Legion Veteran Tactical Squad. Exceptional and experienced warriors within the ranks of the Space Marine Legions are quickly singled out and honoured with additional training in all aspects of warfare. Equipped to the highest standards, so to further amplify their battlefield power, certain legions will further separate their veterans and raise them above the ranks by inducting them into warrior brotherhoods, martial cults, or specified veteran companies. This serves to create an elite body within the Legion to which other warriors can aspire to ascend, and from which future commanders are drawn. The Legion Destroyer Squad. The origins of the Destroyer Squads lay in the unification wars of Terra, but perhaps, surprisingly, not with the forces of the Emperor, but his enemies. Considered dishonourable by some legions, who make little use of them or eschew them altogether, the Destroyers are equipped with and expert in the use of otherwise prescribed and forbidden weaponry. Alongside certain factions of the Mechanicum, only Destroyer cadres have license to use such forbidden devices. Rad weapons, bioalchem munitions, and the cruel-burning horror of phosphex are among their dark arsenal. Weapons which irrevocably taint the ground on which they are used. During the long nightmare of the Age of Strife, such weapons rendered many once life-sustaining colonies uninhabitable charnel houses of the dead. Marked by their fire-blackened and chem-scalded armour, Space Marine destroyers are often shunned and deemed somehow tainted by their battle brothers in many legions, and considered at best a necessary evil, although the effectiveness of their relic weapons cannot be denied. The Legion Terminator Squad. The fruits of the tactical Dreadnought armour project, Terminator suits, are the ultimate advance in personal armour technology that the Imperium has developed. Terminator squads match these formidable developments with the finest veteran forces of the legions to form devastating frontline assault units, able to withstand the heaviest enemy fire and deliver a hammer blow to crush the foe with ruthless power. Terminator armour equipped units are particularly valuable in heavy, close quarter fighting, such as battles fought in the deep confines of hive cities or in starship boarding actions. The Tech Marine Covenant. Tech Marines are specialist members of the Legion, whose intelligence and aptitude mark them from an early stage for induction into the rites and secrets of the Mechanicum, and so hold dual allegiances both to their legion and to the machine cult of Mars. Their role is to maintain and oversee the manufacture and supply of war gear and vehicles for their legion, as well as operate and repair the most specialised and complex weaponry on the battlefield. In this, a legion's armorum and its Tech Marine masters are vital to its ability to wage war. The Legion Apothecarian Detachment. A legion's apothecaries carry its most sacred trusts, the care of its falling and the promise of its future. Serving as battlefield healers, it is an apothecary's task to proffer aid to the wounded, return the injured back to the fray, and minister final mercy to those in need of it. From those beyond help, they have the onerous duty of recovering the Legion's gene seed zygotes for implantation in future generations of Space Marines. These tasks require skill, learning, and above all, courage, for it is one thing to fight an enemy and quite another to turn from battle and tend to the fallen in the midst of war when all around is a whirlwind of slaughter, heedless of safety. The Castraferum Dreadnought. Dreadnoughts are heavily armoured and armoured robotic walkers, piloted by an interred Space Marine whose injuries are irreparable, but who has enough spark of life and will left to endure encasement within the Dreadnought's cyborg frame. From within this armoured sarcophagus, the warrior can continue to fight for his legion for centuries, perhaps millennia, striding the battlefield like one of the giants of legend, both more and less than what they were before. Dreadnoughts have their roots far back in the dark age of technology, and have endured in idiosyncratic forms both on Mars and with the techno-barbaric warlords of terror, as well as in scattered human realms throughout the Age of Strife. Some of these individual relics are still in service, although many times re-tenanted over the millennia. Brought together now under the banner of the Imperium, many patterns of dreadnoughts exist, and it is in latter-day conjunction with the superhuman physiology of the Space Marines that this technology has reached its zenith. The Contemptor Dreadnought. Regarded by many as the most advanced and powerful pattern of dreadnought in the arsenal of the Great Crusade, the Contemptor is a relatively recent design that incorporates not only traditional dreadnought technologies, but arcane systems drawn from the ancient and guarded lore of the Legio Cybernetica of the Mechanicum. Principal among these is a compact atomantic arc reactor, more powerful by far than anything of its size in Imperial manufacture. The abundance of energy it creates and generates can be used to grant the dreadnought frame speed and strength, as well as power defensive energy field systems to further increase its battlefield durability. These advantages over the older Lucifer and Castraferum pattern dreadnoughts, however, are not without their price. The Contemptor requires higher levels of maintenance than most previous designs, while the arc reactor, if breached, is prone to catastrophic failure, dooming the Contemptor chassis to utter destruction. Regardless, the Contemptor's power has found it a place within every legion, and demand for the new chassis is high. The Legion Rapier Weapons Battery. One of a number of similar designs utilised by the Imperium's armed forces, rapier carriers are semi-automated tracked weapons carriers with on-board targeting systems and power generators. Designed to mount support weaponry too large and cumbersome for even the superhuman strength of a Space Marine to carry, the rapier's relatively small size and mobility makes it a perfect support weapon both in defence and offence, where larger field artillery and armoured vehicles cannot go due to their size or weight. The most common armaments mounted on the rapiers of the Space Marine legions are quad heavy bolters and laser destroyer arrays for anti-personnel and anti-armour use respectively, while so-called thud gun multi-launchers are favoured for siege warfare and suppressive fire. More rarely, a legion's tech marines will also use rapier carriers as mounts for more exotic weaponry for special operations, such as the graviton cannon. The Legion Mortis Dreadnought. The Dreadnought's weapon configuration, referred to as the Mortis sub-pattern, mounts identical weapons on both arms, granting it the ability to bring a fearsome weight of firepower to bear on its target. The Mortis is often fitted with a helical targeting array slaved to enhanced target cursing Logis engines that allow it to track its foe with unprecedented accuracy and which make it particularly deadly against enemy flyers. Initially, the majority of Mortis sub-pattern dreadnoughts were of the Contemptor type, but as the Castroferrum patterns, the Mark IV and the Mark V dreadnoughts have entered service in increasing numbers, this sub-pattern has been pressed into the anti-air role across all of the war zones of the Imperium. The Contemptor Mortis Dreadnought. Dreadnoughts are utilised throughout the Legion's Astartes, fielded as spearhead assault units able to operate in war zones and environments impassable to more conventional classes of vehicle. Most in demand of all the types of dreadnought in the arsenal of the Imperium are the Contemptors, towering war machines that utilise a combination of machine systems recovered during the Great Crusade, principal amongst them the potent and ill-understood Atomantic Arc Reactor. When the Legion's Astartes Contemptor Dreadnought Talons go to war, they are sometimes accompanied by specialist machines to protect them from air attack. Where possible, the Contemptor Mortis is fielded. For this anti-air sub-pattern of the substandard Contemptor Dreadnought is equipped with an array of powerful weapons, specifically designed to bring down enemy flyers, potent targeting auguries that allow it to lock onto and track multiple foes, as well as heavy field projectors able to withstand the inevitable storm of return fire its target is sure to unleash. The Contemptor Quartus class Dreadnought. First created during the Ulanor campaign to replace battlefield losses in dreadnoughts which far outstrip supply. The Contemptor Quartus was a variant of the highly successful Prime Contemptor pattern. Utilising many base components, the most sophisticated systems were replaced with robust, if less potent, systems which could be more readily fabricated in the field by the legions. The result was a war machine with its own unique strengths and combat characteristics, but also with a not undeserved reputation for instability. The Mechanicum disapproved strongly of this ersatz design, and once the Ulanor campaign was concluded, it was largely phased out, and surviving examples decommissioned or put to permanent slumber, as production of new Contemptor Primes and Castroferrum Dreadnoughts met the shortfall. What was destined to have been no more than a footnote in the annals of the Legion's Astartes was, however, to see a resurrection in the grinding wars of the Horus Heresy in response to a need far greater than even that which had brought the design into being. Ever more Contemptor Quartus Dreadnoughts strode into battle, either as new units or even to cannibalise Prime and Mortis pattern Contemptors salvaged as wreckage from the battlefields of the ongoing war.